Nathan has always had difficulty in social situations, not for lack of love for social interaction, but simply because he is primarily nonverbal and because he does have different behaviors and different quirks. About the time I found Move, it had been, I want to say 6 or 8 months into our hard quarantine. And at that point, we had had to spend months without even touching our closest family members. With COVID, now you're in a mask, which was necessary for him. Now you're not able to be near your friends. Now you're not able to really interact the way you did. And so I found myself realizing that I could meet his academic and therapeutic needs, but what I was missing was community for him. And it takes a toll. It takes a toll on anybody, but when you have a child who is not able to speak, touch becomes very important. Physical touch is such a powerful way to connect with someone, even if you can't have a full conversation with them. It was December, and I remember standing in my backyard, and it was freezing cold, and looking at Nathan and just realizing this is going to go on for a long time. It had kind of become apparent that COVID wasn't going away, but I knew something had to change, because if you've ever worked with a child with a intellectual disability or with a verbal issue, they can shut down pretty easily. It takes so much effort to connect that when they can't access that connection anymore, I could see that if I didn't get him somewhere soon, he was going to start to close off, and I couldn't let that happen. And so I was grasping at straws, and I had heard about Move, and I wasn't even sure if they were open anymore, but I called her. And Lauren answered the phone.
I remember the first time that I spoke to Nate's mom, Tess, very clearly. The phone rang, and there was this woman on the other end of the call that had a desperation in her voice that was so clear from the very start. We had pretty much no money in the bank, but I got off the phone with her. I said, give me some time, we'll figure this out. And I have a team member named Alyssa who handles onboarding any new students. And I call Alyssa and I'm like, I know I just told you we can't take anyone else on, but we have to take this family on. And so I want you to add him to the list, and I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna find someone to sponsor him so that he can start classes as soon as possible. And that's what I did. I went out, found some donors to help create a scholarship just for Nate, and he started classes not long after that first phone call.
I remember standing in that same backyard when she called me back, and she said, we've got a scholarship for you. Nathan can come twice a week, and you're good for the whole year.
When Lauren reached out to me about Nathan coming into the class, I was really excited to meet him. All that I could hear was how loving he was, nonverbal, maybe some behavioral, just wasn't quite sure what to expect, how he would react to coming into a dance class with that big open space. Sometimes it gets a little challenging because there's multiple places to move.
So the first time Nate and Tess came into the studio, I could tell that Tess was a little nervous. She is an amazing mother. She's very thorough, but I could tell there was, still a little bit of apprehension there. Is this gonna work? Do they actually know how to handle my kid?
I remember being nervous coming in because Nathan can have some behaviors, and it can be a lot. He needs a very special kind of person to help him. They publicize that they're good with people with special needs, but I really hope they mean it. And the first class was an adventure, and they were nothing but love. I think he broke something the first day. And I remember leaving going, oh, they were so amazing, but he broke things and it was hard. I guess that's it.
I really adjusted, and I was like, he needs a visual. He needs something to know that he is working towards something. So I created a visual schedule. It's called an if-then board, and I've used them multiple times, but I've never used it at a dance setting. So I needed to quickly create one. I sent it immediately to Tess and said, hey, can you show this to him before he comes to the class?
Lauren and Megan emailed me and said, we were so excited you were here. We can't wait to have you back. Let us know how we can help make next time even better. And I thought, oh my goodness, they mean it. They really mean it. They really are here for us.
When Nate first started with us, his mom could speak to this, but it was a very short amount of time that he could stay focused in class. And over time, over the years, we have seen that amount of time increase to where he can take a full class. And that is something that I think is inspiring, because a lot of people may be scared to bring their kids in. They've never taken a dance class, or maybe they've had a negative experience in some type of recreational setting where, you know, the organization said, hey, we can help you out, we can take you on, and then it didn't work. And rather than taking the steps to make it work for them, they just turned them away.
We worked with Tess to let her know, not only are we doing this for Nathan, but we're also doing it for you. We really want you to take a minute. She started to realize by the time recital came around, Nathan was on the stage and not the siblings. It was his first time to actually perform where everybody else was able to have a seat, and Tess was crying the entire time, because it's that moment when you realize that your child that has never had that opportunity to perform is actually taking that chance, and he was a star.
He went from being the little boy who was too afraid to come out even into the studio itself to dancing at a recital at the Nashville Zoo in front of hundreds of people and loving it. Not just there because I made him, but there because he wanted to be, and he was with his people, his friends, his tribe, his group of people that he could be himself with. And as a parent, that is something you can't manufacture.
I really saw Tess go from really frantic and unsure and not really positive that it was going to happen. Like, she was really nervous that Move Inclusive Dance wasn't something that maybe would work, and it did. Is because we put things in place to make sure that our dancers are taken care of and that they're able to navigate whatever that may look like for them.
Tess has told us so many wonderful stories of just different life skills that he's learned in our classes, communication, problem solving, that he is now able to take home and into school and use those techniques just to live his everyday life.
When you walk through the doors of Move, they see you. So often people with disabilities have these labels on them, and while the labels can be necessary and helpful, it's helpful for me to walk into a room and say, Nathan has these things going on, it's going to help you understand him better. They're not labels, they're people. They're amazing, funny, effervescent, passionate people just like anybody else, and sometimes they don't get to have that be the first greeting, but not here. When you walk through the doors of Move Inclusive, they see Nathan. They see funny, joyful, excited, goofy, silly Nathan. And they don't see the disability. As a special needs parent, sometimes it really does take everything you have just to keep this person alive. But that's not what people deserve. They deserve to thrive, and we've always fought for our children to thrive despite their disabilities, but sometimes the money is too short. It needs to be kept to cover the bases. So when Lauren made that phone call and told us that he could come to class not once but twice for the entire year, there is a feeling in your gut, in the pit of your stomach, when you are a parent and you cannot provide something for your child. And when someone hands it to you, it's a miracle.